Hey guys, welcome back to week 5. Hope it's all going well for you. Take out a sheet of paper and a pencil and pause this and let's do a pop quiz and see how well you do. Accurate as you can. Focus a little bit on the speed, but let's focus a little more on the side of accuracy, then the speed will come, okay? Most of it in your head as much as you can. So go ahead and pause it. All right, let's go to the first one. We got a 14 and we have 3 zeros, 14,000. This one we have 11 times 5, 55, 100, 2 zeros. This one we have a 6 and 1 zero, 60. We have 8 on this one, 2 zeros, 800. This one is 36 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is my annual. So, okay. All right, this one is our trick about going back and forth, back 1 and back 1. That makes this into 20 times 4, which is 80. Same thing here. 8,000 times 0.6 is 800 times 6, which is 4,800. Same thing over here. Twice is 9. Twice is 700. 700 times 9 is 6,300. The decimal here, we do the short division. That turns out to be 0.85. And this one, to a percent, of course, you just move that over. That's 85%. So, okay. All right. Pause this one. Quickly warm up with these 4 questions. So, go ahead. Okay, this one is a bust it into 2 pieces. That is 80 times 6, 480, plus 2 times 6, 12, 492. There it is. This one is, as a matter of fact, the exact same problem. I've just added a few zeros and a decimal to make it confusing. That's my job as an adult, is to ruin your life. Okay, anyway. Yeah, this is, again, just 82 times 6, which is, again, 492. Now, you have to make this reasonable, though. Okay, and a little more than half of 8,200 has to be this. If you wanted to remember this, you could go, okay, this is over 1, that gives me a 6. This is over 1 here, that gives me 820. 820 times 6, 4920. 90% of 8,000, don't forget your method. 0.9 of means to multiply 8,000, and then you can go over 1, over 1, 9 times 800, 7,200. 40% of 1,200, let's do this in our heads, visualize it. 0.4 times 12,000. The 0.4 goes over, that's 4. The 12,000 goes over once, that's 1,200. 1,200 times 4, 4,800. There you go. There's your mental math, okay? You need to make, at this point, where this is the 5th week, you need to start kind of like forcing yourself to just, let's go ahead and do these things. Let's make sure I'm doing this in my head and doing as much as possible, okay? You're about a third of the way finished. By the time this is over, if you're doing these worksheets every day, you should be making some serious progress on this. Okay, our new trick is finding X% of Y. Last week we did find X% of Y with zeros. This time we're going to do it not zeros. This is really crazy how this works, and you're going to like this. All right, let's go back to the old method. The old one we did last week was find 70% of 5,000. Now, pause it for a second in a sec, but if you had to explain this to somebody, you tell a smaller kid, younger than you, how do you do this in your head? What's the method? Find 70% of 5,000. Let's pause it for a second and think about what you would say. Okay, you would say basically, okay, 70% is 0.7 of 5,000. Now, junior, little brother, toddler, friend of yours, whoever, you move this over to a 7, you move this over to a 500, that's 3,500. There you go, okay? We're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to use another trick to make this happen. This is wild. You'll like this, okay? There are your steps. Write them down. Number 1, rewrite this sentence as a math problem. Of is multiply, X% is the decimal. Same as last week. Same thing. All right? Second, ignore the decimal and multiply. Just ignore it. All right? Don't get too hung up on these steps. When you do the steps practically, you're going to train that into your brain. 3, add the decimal in the correct place. Of course, you can count. Remember how to count backwards and forwards equally. All right? So let's try it. So I'm going to keep the steps on the right side so we can do it. All right, find 80% of 72. I'm talking about doing this in your head. All right? You understand you can do this in your head. All right? Dazzle your friends or your former friends. Okay, let's do it. Rewrite as a math problem. We'll do this at first for a while. 0.8, right, 80%, of 72. Now, you have done ones like this before already. All you did on this one is to turn this percent into a problem that we have seen before. So ignore the decimal and you multiply, right? So that's going to be 8 times 72. You know how to handle that, right? We got 70 times 8, 560. We got 2 times 8, 16. 560 plus 16, 576. Now, is that a reasonable answer? No, because it's only a percent of 72. So what makes it a reasonable answer with those exact numbers? Right there. And that's it. And you can do that in your head. Very quickly again, 80% of 72, 0.8 times 72. Okay, oh, forget that. 8 times 72. Let's see. 8 times 70, 560. 8 times 2, 16. 560 plus 16 is 576. Wait, it can't be 576. Oh, 57.6. There it is. That's all you do. Rinse and repeat. Okay, let's try another one. 30% of 59. Now this time, go ahead, pause it for a sec, write those steps out as quickly as you can, solve it, and come back. Okay, I'm assuming you've come back. 30%, 0.3 of 59. Forget that. 3 times 59. 3 times 50, 150. 3 times 9, 27. 150 plus 27, 177. Not reasonable. It's a part of 59. There's what's reasonable. Now, after a while, I want you to start doing that in your head, not on paper or taking a long time. Although, if you're taking a test or trying to do a math problem in your math book or whatever, go ahead and do it. That's fine. No problem. Okay? But it's neat to be able to do it in your head. All right. Let's try another one. 74% of 60. Pause it. Try to do as much as you can on this in your head as possible. Then come back. Okay. Well, I'm doing on paper. 0.74 times 60. Now, again, ignore zeros. Ignore decimals. 74 times 6. That's what you need to train yourself to be looking for. 70 times 6, 420. 4 times 6, 24. 420 plus 24, 444. That's unreasonable. So the answer, of course, is 44.4. Dig? That makes sense? Okay. This is something you can do in your head. It's pretty neat. All right? Try another one. Now try to do this completely in your head. Go ahead and pause it. All right. 26% of 40, don't do 0.26 times 4 is 0. It's 26 times 4, right? What's 26 times 4? 20 times 4, 80. 6 times 4, 24. 80 plus 24 is 104. That's not reasonable. That is. Okay? All right. Try these. Go ahead and pause it and try those 3. Okay, same thing. We got 0.42 times 70. Forget all that jazz. 42 times 7, that's what you're looking at. 40 times 7 is 280. 2 times 7, 14. 280 plus 14, 294. Of course, we want 29.4. Second one, when you look at this, now you should be telling yourself, oh, when somebody says to you, what's 30% of 54? You should be thinking 3 times 54, 3 times 54, 3 times 54. Actually, just think it once. It's a lot easier, okay? Like when you're in a wedding, will you take this man over here? Well, just say I do 1 time, not 3 times. Okay, anyway. 30% of 54 is 3 times 54. 3 times 50, 150. 3 times 4, 12. Together, 162. Of course, 30% of 54 is 16.2. There you go. 38% of 20, that is 38 times 2, which is 76. Not reasonable? That's reasonable. There you go. That's all there is to it. Okay. All right. On the page below, homeschoolpartners.net/math tips, there is a link for week 5 to a crossword puzzle. And you can do that online. You just click on it and it's a web page. You just type the answers out, and when you're all finished, it should give you a pleasant, warm, cuddly feeling inside. Whatever. So anyway, okay, you guys have a great week. I will see y'all next week.